Hi, this is Yvette Stanley, and this thematic unit is about learning the five senses. The five senses consist of sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. The rationale for doing the five senses thematic unit is because kindergarten students use them every day to get to know and understand the world around them. But typically, they don't even know that they're using the five senses. So what we'll do is we'll start here by my math calendar. If you look at here, I have a pattern going on, and it's showing the A-B pattern. And over here, it's showing my students what the pattern of the month is. So that way when I ask a student to come up here and to put the new date up, and if they're confused, then they'll be able to look at the pattern and be able to realize which is the next one that's going to be next. Over here then, I have my tally chart. Again, we're counting by fives. So it's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. And then down here, I'm doing my counting to 100. The students will then come up here and write each day. And then in the yellow column is counting by fives as well. Then up here we have the time. Students will be able to go ahead and learn analog and digital. And they'll be able to go ahead and match the digital time. They'll write it out to match the analog time. Then also I'll ask the students what day, if today's the 25th, is it odd or even? And they'll be able to go ahead and tell me if it's odd or even day. If we look over here, let me do it this way. If we look over here, we also have the place value, where we have straws. Right here I have 5 ones, and then I have, of course, the tens place I have 20, and I bind the 10. So that way, during the year, we'll be able to count to see how many days we have been in school. So, and then also on this side here, I have students where they'll come up here and they'll choose what today is, what yesterday was and what tomorrow will be. So that way they'll kind of get the gist of the different days. And then also I'll have them write the number down. And then they'll be able to write it in a number form, and then also I velcroed it to where we can do the number word form, so they'll know what the word looks like written out. And then by the weather, we'll go ahead and look over here, and then this is on Velcro, so each day, I'll ask the students, what's the weather like today? And they'll say either sunny or cloudy, and I'll be like, how do you know what the weather is? Do you see it? Do you see the weather and that's how you can tell? Or can you also go outside and feel it, touch it, and you'll be able to tell what the weather is. Then from here, we'll go ahead and graph the weather for each day. And then of course at the end of the month, we'll have all of our data, and we'll go ahead and add everything here at the top, and then we'll go ahead and have an open discussion about it. And then also I have my temperature gauge here, and that will also help us to see what the temperature is inside the room each day. And then for the days of the week, it allows the students to know the days of the week, which is important in kindergarten. And it'll say, today is Thursday, tomorrow will be Friday, and yesterday was Wednesday. And then on the piggy bank, here I have grouped pennies into fives. And this will allow the students to be able to visually see what fives look like, but also be able to count to them. So they'll see 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25, which will of course match the date. So this is what consists of my math calendar board. And next we're going to go to my science center. So in my science center here, I have file folder games. And in these games, I have, the first one is called the five senses. And in here, it's a sheet, and it has some cards. And the cards, they'll have to match if, you can see or hear or smell, taste, or touch it. They'll be able to match those. The next game is the touch and feel worksheet. Actually, they'll get one of the markers out, and they'll look at the pictures, and they'll be like, okay, a kettle could be hot, or a pillow could be soft, and they'll be able to write that down. The other one is called Learning About Our World, and it has cards too with the actual pictures of the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And what they'll do is they'll be able to match it from the columns here. So if you've got flowers and smoke and skunk, you know that's going to be having to do with smell. And the last game here is called My Five Senses, and what it is the children will be able to go ahead and get a marker, and they'll be able to go ahead and draw a line to match the picture with the correct word. Down here I have some Petri dishes, and I have some magnifying glasses down here. So what students will be able to do is take the Petri dishes, and of course they'll have a piece of paper and they'll be able to write down what they're actually seeing through the magnifying glass. But they'll be able to look at each dish and be able to describe what they see. Then next to it is my scent Petri dishes, and these have cotton in them, but I've put some scent oils on them, and so they have cards to match. So for instance, this is got apple. It's got the answer on the back in case they get confused. But they would open up the dish, they would smell it, and then they would pick the card that matches with the dish. Then I have the see thing. So then I have a mirror that's down there as well. And what they'll do is they'll look at themselves in the mirror and be able to, look at and see through the mirror what they see. And then they're going to actually draw it. So I have some Crayolas down there as well that they'll be able to go ahead and draw a picture of themselves. And then down here I have your five senses, which shows pictures. The students will take a pencil and they'll go ahead and look to see if, like sheep. You can hear a sheep and you can see a sheep, so they would go ahead and check whatever senses that they use with each object. And of course I have the directions down here on the bottom in case they have any questions. And then if they have some free time, I do have some Play-Doh and I do have some shells down there. And what I thought they could do is they could go ahead and take the Play-Doh and roll it out, and then they could put the shells in the Play-Doh to kind of make some fossils, and then use the magnifying glasses to look at that too. And then on the side here, of course, I have my peaks to go ahead and remind me of the curriculum that I need for my high standards in the classroom. So, and that's all about my science center. So now we're going to go over to my math center. And this math center, I've got file folder games as well. And this one I have telling time and counting by fives. And this is actually my favorite one because I created it. But as you'll see, you'll take this and they'll have the index cards with the time on it. And what they'll need to do is match it. So if that says 2:30, then of course, the clock needs to say 2:30. And so they'll go through these index cards. And then at the end, I have Velcroed these by fives to count by fives. So they'll be doing 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way through 60 minutes. So that way they can kind of, get a gist of counting by fives, but also know how the clock goes by 5 increments as well. Next one is patterns. And I have index cards with patterns such as this one says A, B, A, B, A, B. And then down below I actually have pieces of candy. So what the students will do is take the index card, look at the pattern, and I have different shapes of candy in here. So if it's A, B, A, B, it'll be set like this with the pattern of the shapes. And they'll go through all the index cards, and then when they're done, then they can go ahead and pick out one piece and eat it. The next one is dominoes. And I have the dominoes down below. And here I have a laminated sheet. And we're going to be doing, the 5. So it'll be, students will take a domino and they'll be able to pick out, 1 plus 4 equals 5, or 0 plus 5 equals 5, or 2 plus 3 equals 5. So, and then they'll be able to write those down. The next one is graphing. And here they have some cards, and this is the 5 senses. And this is about how to teach the students graphing, but they have pictures. And as you can see, this is a race car. So what they'll do is race car is, of course, loud, so it would go under here. And so they would go ahead and check the box. And then at the end, they would go ahead and put their totals at the bottom. And the next one is place value. It is where they have the permanent place. I'm going to put that like that. And I have little feet. And so it has numbers on all of them. And what they'll do is they'll go ahead and place the correct numbers in the correct place value. And then I have some worksheets. Or actually I have some sorting too. I have down here, and I have the instructions written down. But I also have the pom-poms, and I have the foam squares, and then also I have different colored sticks and rubber bands, and I also have these colored eyes that they can sort by color or by texture too. And then over here I have my worksheets. So I have a number line counting by 5s, so they'll go ahead and just fill in the blanks by counting by 5s. And then over here, they have the missing numbers counting by 5s. And so they'll just go ahead and fill in the blanks there. And then, of course, when they're done, I have plenty of books for them to go ahead and read for their leisure if they still have time in the center. So that really concludes everything. In doing the thematic unit, I'm reinforcing the subject that I'm trying to teach, and I hope that through doing it through math and science, I am enhancing their learning experience. Thank you.